All right, everybody, welcome back to the Good Ad Fellas. Today we've got a special guest. We've got my buddy Jordan. He's here. We're going to ask Jordan some questions. He's going to tell us about what he does. And we're going to get into the street interview ads that Jordan has now found a niche in. And he's crushing it. So without further ado, let's get in. Luke, my co-host, how we living?
Mate, I'm living well. I mean, I am so excited for this episode because the amount of times that I see street interview ads on my feed's a joke. And I can tell you there's a difference between good ones and bad ones. So I'm excited to hear how Jordan approaches finding those good winning street interviews. I'm pumped, man. I'm very pumped for this.
It's going to be a good one. And so, Jordan, for you, I know your story a little bit, but I would like for you to kind of explain how you got into street interview ads, because you didn't start in advertising.
No, sir, I did not. And what's up, boys? Thanks for having me on. How did I get into doing street interviews? Well, I'll give you the little bit of a backstory. I just like career wise, immediately after college, I got into commercial real estate. Sold nothing in a year and a half. Wanted to kill myself. It was horrible. And then I got into tech, which is kind of where I wanted to be, or like tech adjacent. So I was selling software for a long time, and then started a cleaning company because I knew that I wanted to build something. I just wasn't really sure what. Started building a cleaning company that was called Pink's Cleaning, and then from there, just like kind of naturally melded into media because I had been creating content on LinkedIn and other platforms for a long time, and that's just kind of what felt natural. And so I decided to take something that I thought I was good at, which was writing, and turn it into a business. So I was ghostwriting for a long time, for a bit, and then the street ads all came about because I saw one person doing it, and my brain, and he was doing it for other consumer brands, and so then my brain went, all right, well, if you're doing it, I can also do it. It wasn't even like I can do it so much better than you. It was just like I can do that as well. And there wasn't really that many people doing it. And I live in New York. Sorry, but I love to be on camera. Yeah, I literally just saw someone doing it, and I'm like, all right, well, what would be the logical next step here? And then started doing a couple of them for free and signed a couple of brands doing that.
What was like the moment that you realized? Was it when you saw somebody else do it and you're like, oh, like I could do this? Or was there another like catalyst that made you want to do it?
No, dude, I just saw someone doing it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Why can't I do that? There's nothing that crazy or that yeah, that was the whole impetus. Was I saw somebody and I'm like, why not me?
How do you get random people on the street to actually like stop and have a conversation with a camera in their face?
Carson, you remember when we were in Austin, and that promoter came up to us. He's like, boys, I got the spot for you.
Yeah.
And then he took us into that bar, and then we had a night there.
Yeah.
It's not like 4 hours. I'm not talking.
Some information can be said about that night. It has to
Yeah.
be, it ends there, yeah.
That promoter came up to us, and I was like, bro, this guy would be really good at street interviews, because he just came up. He was like, boys, got something for you. It's kind of a similar thing where you literally just go up to somebody with an insane amount of confidence, and you'd be surprised at how many people actually will stop and talk to you. Like, I think people are pretty nice. And if I've learned anything from doing street interviews, it's that most people are pretty cool. Like, not that hard to talk to, and most of them will stop and give you the time of day. The
Yeah.
ones that won't, they'll walk away and you'll never see them again.
So I think what's interesting for that is like, because you start these, you go up to them and you're starting the interview format and you don't know what type of person you're dealing with.
No.
Is that like, have you learned kind of a muscle in your mind where you know what questions to ask that will give the highest chance of virality? Or do you just let it happen naturally and see where it goes?
So the interesting thing is we're not really going for insane virality. Like, you try and make them engaging, but the thing is like we're doing these for brands that are selling a product. And so if we were just doing pure virality, I would do what I do for myself, which is videos like, hey, how much do you spend living in XYZ city? What's the biggest red flag in and a guy that you're dating. Just like random bullshit that people wanna hear. But for brands, it's different. And on the ad side, like I'll give you an example. For Autopilot, which is one of my clients, we had 2 different campaigns going. One of them was we were talking about, like, I'd go up to somebody and I'd say, "Hey, would you rather have Warren Buffett or Nancy Pelosi manage your portfolio for you?" And I thought that was a fucking great question. Like, it's
That is a great
super
question.
engaging. People are like, "Oh, well, Nancy, because she knows shit." But and then so there was that one, and then we had the other one, the other question which we asked, which was, "Have you set up an investing account yet?" Boring as shit. Nobody, like, not that engaging of a question. That ad did significantly better than the Warren Buffett or Nancy Pelosi question.
Interesting.
So it begs the question is like, all right, should we be going for virality or should we be going for like problem solution type thing? And that's something we're just constantly testing. And for some clients it's different, but yeah, that's what I've learned.
I wonder too if, and I don't know what your hypothesis on this is, but I wonder too if it's different, varied on the product.
Yeah.
Like if you did something a little bit more viral focused for ads, if it would do better for maybe a CPG brand than it would be for something more serious like an investment SaaS.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that company was like very specific to, like, I had to look a very specific way. They were like, I hired somebody to do it, and they're like, this person doesn't have the look, and so I had to look very like finance bro sort of situation.
Where's the gilet? I don't see the gilet.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I don't look like a finance bro in the slightest, but I had to like put on a vest and do the whole thing. So yeah, I mean, it has to change for different companies, but I don't know, like I feel like with ads, what you learn is like every single thing is an experiment. Every ad is an experiment. So you really, and all you can do is make a fuck ton of them. I don't know if I can cuss. Can I cuss? I can
Yeah,
cuss.
we don't care.
Absolutely.
You just
We're
make,
pretty lax.
make a fuck ton of them, and then you just try to replicate the ones that are winning.
So with that being said, like, is there certain things you're looking to test still to this day when you're making these ads for with street interviews? Like, are you testing different hooks? Are you testing different people who maybe, like, for example, we did one for Freebird for street interviews, and we went to LA, and there was a guy with pigeons, and that was like our hook, right? It was pigeons all over him as like a visual hook. Are you testing stuff like that, or you're like, hey, we know what works, it's just a matter of different questions and then cutting it up in the right way?
I try and test one thing at a time. So usually, like, one thing I'll do is I'll take one hook, one question that we're doing, and maybe try 2 to 3 different hosts, so different interviewers. So me, and then usually two girls. Inevitably, the girls usually do better, but I'll try and, because otherwise there's just too many variables. So
Yeah.
I try and just do one at a time, whether it's a hook in an interview or something.
And why CPG brands specifically to focus on? Like, I know you've worked with SaaS companies, but I don't think I even know why the focus on CPG. Do you think it's just because it's a tangible product?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot harder. I think it's a lot harder going up to people and being like, "So what do you think of this B2B SaaS tool that no one's ever heard of?"
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot. Maybe this is a cop out answer, but like it's a lot easier to be like, "Hey, try these chips and let me know what you think."
Yeah, that's fair.
Get more reactions than like, "Hey, we're the AEO product for B2B SaaS tools that helps you do discoverability." Then again, I want to try out, if AirOps is listening to this, I really want to try doing a couple for them because I think it could work. But in short, there hasn't, dude. My philosophy is so fucking dumb, Carson. It's like, this is what somebody else is doing, I'm just gonna do that too. Like the guy that I copied doing this was just doing it for CPG brands, and I'm like, cool, I'll do that as well. So I
Interesting.
don't really have a great reason, sadly.
That's okay.
And sometimes
Honesty's,
I feel kind of dumb because I'm like, do I just copy people? Like, is that all? Is that like my whole brand?
I mean, it's not even about copying though, because you iterate on it with different things that you do, right? Like a lot of people do street interviews, but it's just okay, what makes them different? Why are they different? I think for you, it's you're not afraid to kind of ask outside of the box questions and also do a little bit more outside of the box things, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I watch your stuff, it doesn't feel like it's scripted or like someone's paid.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It is 100% organic, so to speak. We're doing that. Go ahead.
What fascinates me here would be like, is there a way? Because like you'll know probably from looking at other like street interviews, kind of like how people have packaged those types of videos. Like in your opinion, and what you've seen from kind of the data that you have access to, then all you do is street interviews, right? That is your fucking format. Like, what would you say makes someone stop the scroll in a street interview format? Like, what is it in the first 2 seconds, do you think? Is it the fact you going up and saying, sorry to disturb you, but like, or is it showing that, or is it just going straight to the question? Like, what is that, do you think?
Hmm. Man, this is where my answer goes immediately, and what I've honest to God found to do the best is pretty people on camera usually do well.
Yeah. So
So
I'm being Carson around there all the time. No, I'm kidding.
I hate to say it, but like the street interviews that we've done in San Diego have significantly outperformed organically the ones that we've done in any other part of the world. So that's usually fun. Go ahead.
I was like, we go into detail on which locations would you say had lower?
Yeah, it's like literally the boardwalk in San Diego is just an absolute gold mine for street interview content. Other than that, man, like we try and have nothing but the first like I've seen a lot of interviews that's like today we're in the park talking about XYZ, and I think that's a really dumb hook and usually doesn't work very well. I haven't found that work very well. We tested a couple of those, they haven't done well. So usually we'll just get straight into the question. And my frame for it is usually just like, is this a question that I would like to know people's response for?
That's actually a great frame of.
Yeah, like I think you can say that with anything, man. Like with your own content, with ads, with even with anything. Like with a podcast, it's like, would I listen to this?
Yeah.
Would I
Would I be interested in someone's answer to this question?
genuinely, yeah. If you'd be interested in it, then odds are other people will be too.
That's kind of like
Mm.
when I think about the street interviews that you've done as well, and that I've seen other people do of, like the Hard Knocks guys, when they're asking questions like, how'd you become a millionaire? Like, how much are you worth? How much do you pay for rent? All this stuff. Like, what do you spend living in X city? It's like, those are the questions people are genuinely interested in. And I think a lot of it comes down to we're intrigued by what people do, how they make their money, and if there's an opportunity for us to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, if we want to live in this city, like how much do I need to make?
totally.
you know so I think there's a lot of psychology within that, with why those types of questions do very well. So that's a very good frame of mind now
Yeah,
that I
and
think about it.
part of me is like, man, is that net good or net bad? Because I'm like, I don't know how much the content is like generally helpful. Like, I think you could. I have nothing but incredible things to say about Hard Knocks, the Hard Knocks dudes. Like they crush, but I'm like, is it actually is it useful? Like, I don't know. It's entertaining.
True.
I'm not
And I
gonna
guess
look
it kind of depends on the content goal, right? Like for
Yeah,
ads, it's like we don't want to be entertaining as much as we want to sell,
for
but you
sure.
can be entertaining and sell. It's just a matter of doing it the right way.
I guess you're right. I guess it's just kind of about being honest with what you're doing. Like if
Yeah.
it's just for entertainment purposes, then great.
I always say, for example, if you watch, like I saw this really interesting thing that popped up on my YouTube feed recently, and it was this guy called, I don't know what his name is, like something Scales, this like 20-year-old marketing guy. Have you heard of this guy called Carson something Scales? Anyway, he did this format where it was like V1 talking about like entrepreneurship, right? And everyone just kept calling like a guru course scammer, right? Like an hour and 20 long minute video. It's a really interesting format. And I kind of came away saying, like, what is he actually achieving? And it was purely awareness. It was a purely awareness play for him, right? He got 1.3 million views. He did really well there, right? So I think the question I have about content, is it educational? Is it entertainment? I think the best is when it's a bit of both, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree.
And I feel like with street interviews, what you have, Jordan, that I think is, and I think that's why you'll have so many brands coming to you, is because first of all, you don't know where it's going, so they don't know where it's going. Like you don't know how an interview will go, and you may have that hot tour moment. Like you don't know, right? Maybe not for the certain brands you work with. They may not want that, but they didn't know where that was going.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with these questions when you're trying to trigger emotions or maybe controversial answers? Like what is that ideation process?
Dude, the funny thing is I literally have to call one of my friends and tell them about this company and then go back and forth on ideas because like I feel like I'm pretty good at coming up on with ideas on my own, but like I need the back and forth to like flush out the good ones and the bad ones. So I'll literally call a friend and be like, "Hey, so we got this company. Here's the 5 ideas I'm thinking of. What do you think?" And then we'll just go back and forth, and then usually the first 5 will suck, and then we'll come up with a couple that are one fitting but two also entertaining.
You know what you could also do? This just kind of got my ideas spinning. You should just call random people in your contacts and tell them about this product and then see what questions they have.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Because then you're actually getting like what people want to know about the product who don't know about it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all.
Oh, that's really nice.
And then they go in completely blind, just like in a street interview.
Interesting. What's your guys' ideation process? Because I feel like you guys are far more like my sauce is other people. Like I'm not the star. I'm technically the star of the show or whoever's interviewing is, but like the stars are the random fuckers on the street that like will admit that they're cheating on their husband or something like that.
Wait, hold on. Have you had that before in the interview?
But yeah, he's had that.
Yeah, I did. I'll send you the video after, or you can link it. It's great, dude. I was asking people. I asked them like, what's one thing that you've lied about? And 4 girls were like, my body count. And this one like older woman, 50s, 60s maybe, was like, I'm having an affair. Like, oh my God.
You know the cameras. You know the cameras are
Holy
cool.
Lord.
I'm like, and she's like, are you recording? I'm like, yes. He goes, yeah, I'm having an affair. I'm like, why would you? I'm like, okay. Dude, craziest thing. I should have had that as the hook, which was so dumb. I can't believe I didn't. I can remake it, but
I mean, look, me and Carson will quickly answer our question about ideation, but I want to talk to you more about like the wildest answers you've ever had while doing street interviews. But to quickly just kind of explain how I approach ideation is I'm a big believer that like the best copywriters are actually like the ones that just like know where the audiences live, how they use, what words, what vernacular. Like I'm all very obsessed about that. And then what I like to do is like just go into the world that my customers in, and then just kind of let them tell me the ideas. Because the algorithms are so good now, the content will come to you, and then you can just like iterate off it. That's how I approach it.
got it.
I know Carson's a bit different, slightly different, but yeah, that's kind of how I approach it. So I'm very like data. I'm quite obsessed about that. How I look at creativity. What you, Carl?
For me, it's the foundation is just research. So how much information about the product, about people's thoughts, questions, their answers, and just like kind of thinking about the product in different ways. So for me, like I was on a call yesterday, I was helping a brand think of a billboard idea because they got something going up in Times Square, and we were like tossing back and forth, you know, what is the product and what does it do? And how can we say this differently? Like, you know, for them, they're a coffee brand, right? But for most coffee, I don't know if you guys know this, most coffee, 80% of the world's coffee has mold, traces of mold in it. And so
Really?
their whole thing is mold-free coffee. And we were like, okay, what are the things you get from having mold-free coffee? Like you get less messed up gut, you get more clear head, you get no jitters or crash. And we were going into like the taste and stuff, and we started thinking about headlines, and the founder already had like a good idea, like drink coffee, not mold. And then we kind of were like, okay, what can we do? Use as a sub headline to tie back into that. And for the end, the end thought was taste peace of mind. And it's like, you know, when you have mold in your coffee and you don't have mold in your coffee, you're getting peace of mind from not drinking the mold. Right. So it's like, how can we say things a little bit differently in order to be able to convey the point creatively but simply? That's kind of how I go about the creative part.
It's great. Your brain just does very awesome things. Sometimes I wish my brain did that.
Dude, I used to think for the longest time, like, I'm not artistic, I'm not creative, and then I got into this industry and I was like, "Oh, I actually do have some pretty good ideas," but a lot of it just came from, like, teaching myself how to think. Like, I think that's the biggest thing
Yeah.
is you have to know certain things in order to be able to unlock that. And for anybody who's watching, a great podcast that kind of unlocked another level for me was How I Write with David Perel, and Harry Dry was the guest. And that kind of got my brain spinning and thinking in different ways and going deeper into the points that were made about like why relatability is important, why relativity is important, why being specific and concrete is so vital in advertising. And that's so if anybody's watching, I urge you to go watch that after you finish this episode.
I agree with that.
But I know Luke had another question as well. So enough about me. Back to Jordan here.
Jordan, putting Jordan back in the hot seat. I mean, look, you've already told us about a pretty wild answer, but like, are there like answers you've had before? Don't tell me the clients where you're like, we cannot air this, that you've gone, holy shit, that's wild. I mean, the affair one is pretty hard to beat, but there must be some close calls.
The second one, actually, there were like two affair ones, funny enough.
Okay, amazing.
So I'll tell that one as well. But we were going up to people and we were going up to couples and asking how they first met, or like what was, and like talk to me about your first date. And we went up to like older couples and asked, and this one couple kind of started laughing and they're like, "Oh yeah, our first date was like in the back of like Dodge Ram," and I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "So, walk me through the date. Like, what, do you guys get food or did you go for a drive maybe? Like, I don't know what you guys did back in the 50s, but tell me." Um, and she's like, "Yeah, well, we weren't really supposed to be together, but we were neighbors." And I was like, is it more of like a Romeo and Juliet situation? And he goes, "More of an adultery situation."
Dude, that's horrible.
And she's like, "That was so funny." Now they've been married for 30 years. And I'm like, that's actually, if there's a case for cheating.
That's a case. Other good fellows, we justify cheating.
Yeah. Trying to justify it. Well, we'll stick with it. So that was a crazy one. I like almost got beat up once. I didn't get beat up, but I almost got beat up.
What did you ask?
Dude, I was just talking like, so how if you're in the wild, if you're in like the sub-Saharan African desert and you see like a little baby lion, you probably shouldn't go up to it because like mama lion's right next door and like will probably tear your guts out. I was in the park and generally speaking, when an adult man like myself goes up to not kids, but like, I don't know, 18, 19-year-old people, like it could be weird, right? And so I went up to these girls that were younger. They were adults. They were like 18, 19. And I was asking them questions about like student stuff because we were doing stuff for Quizlet. And the dad was like not having it. The questions were very normal. They weren't weird or anything. The dad was not having it, and he came up and like got in my face. I was like, "Dude, I'll walk away. I'm sorry. This was not meant to be weird."
Camera rolling. Quizlet.
Yeah, camera was I'm like, "Hey, listen, I meant nothing by it. I'm sorry. I'll get out of here." And he's like, "Yeah, you better fucking walk away."
Good Lord.
Quizlet. Are you Quizlet's competitor?
Dude, it was. Yeah, that wasn't that was not my finest moment. Almost got beat up. Adultery. What else? Oh my god, last one that was kind of gnarly. So I'm Jewish, and Carson's Jewish too. But we were doing a taste test with this one company that I definitely won't mention. This guy he was a like Hasidic Jew. He keeps kosher, and it was my sense that this brand was kosher, but it didn't have like the kosher designation from a rabbi. So the guy takes a bite of the chips and he looks at it. He's like, "Are these kosher?" And I'm like, "I think so. Like they're made from blah blah blah." And he's like, "No, but are they kosher?" And like he looks at the bag. He's like, "Oh shit, there's nothing that says kosher on it." This kid literally makes himself throw up, and like throws up in the middle of the park. And I'm like, oh my God. I felt horrible.
Holy.
It was like I just poisoned the kid. And I'm like, all right, as a fellow Jew, come on. But
That's
I
the college. You say that. Come on.
but I
Come
felt
on.
bad. I felt bad. Yeah.
So,
It's like,
Jordan, I think this was yesterday or Monday, you launched a video talking about how you're doing 30 interviews in 30 days for 30 different brands. Tell us about why you're doing that and the thinking behind it and how you're going to pull it off.
yeah, dude. It's probably just transparency. It's probably not going to be 30 days, but I'm going to post videos every day on my socials for 30 days. That being said, there are 30 brands that I really want to work with that are all doing north of 10 to 15 million dollars a year in revenue, that spend over 50 to 60K a month on ads, that I really want to work with. Look back at the 10 to 12 clients we kind of have rotating right now. How I got the majority of them was just by making free street interview ads, and then using that as a lead magnet to now where I'm like, hey, made this for you. Let me know what you think. And just using that and DMing everybody on the planet, sending it to them on Instagram, emailing them, just using that to do outbound. And finally, like the one I made for Superpower, they finally responded and they were like, dude, this is fucking awesome. We're already working with a street interview agency, but like, let's set up a call. And so it works insanely well. It's not going to work 100% of the time, but it's been the biggest growth lever to date. And so my thought was like, why not just triple down on it?
There you go.
That's what
That's
we're
a
doing.
great way to think of it.
Yeah. I mean, like sometimes I think the dumbest answer is probably the right one. And for me, the dumbest answer is like, all right, we'll just make free shit that catches their attention. And that's worked historically. So I'm like, well, why not just do 1,000, just do 100 reps of that or 30 reps of that? But
Uncut. So I'm intrigued. So there's two questions I have. One is about like agency life, and then one is about the future of the street interview format and where you see it going. So I'll start with the agency question. Do you think the future of getting clients is by doing free work and making it undeniable to them that like they should go with you because you're willing to do free work before they pay you? And the second question is, where do you see the future of the street interview format going as it matures?
yeah. Question one, I think there's two components. I mean, the first which is obvious is that if the work itself isn't that enticing, then you can do as much free work as possible, but they're not going to pay attention. So I think that doing free work is actually a really good indicator of whether you have something that people want or not. Like if I did 100 street interviews and all 100 or if 90 plus brands were like, oh, this sucks, I don't want it, then I could keep doing free ones, but it doesn't really matter. So for me, it's been a good indicator of what my clients actually, or what my prospective clients actually think. And so what I've learned is like people want it. Yeah, dude, there's until you've built up a massive portfolio, there's very few differentiators between you and the other guy. So I have no pride or any ego about doing free work. Like I'll do as much free work as I humanly can to show value before people pay us. I think anyone that disagrees with that is either either just super well connected where they don't need to do that anymore, or they just haven't built a business. But I feel like doing free stuff and proving value, it's just and then doing it a fucking lot is the only way to really build an agency, at least.
No, I fully agree. I would say actually, if you're starting out, I mean, how we got our first clients for our little agency that we have, that isn't our main business, but like when we started, it was literally, hey, here's some free ads. And it was conferences. Like it was like just giving unbelievable value up front.
Dude, it's significantly harder and it takes way more time and it's not scalable. But dude, if you want to land companies that are doing 10, 20, 30 million in revenue, then it's what you got to do. And because you're nobody, like I'm nobody to them until they start referring me. But like you have to show what you can do before.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And then my last question, I love that ping. My question, I think Carson may have some of his own. Mine will be, look, hey, like, where is the future of this format going? Because I feel like with every format, it matures, right? I'd love to know where you think it's going.
Dude, I don't fucking know, man. I feel like I would just be guessing as good as you, as good as anybody. The one thing I know for a fact is that people crave authenticity, and that is why streaming reviews work so well, because UGC, you can tell that UGC is scripted. You can tell that influencers don't actually give a fuck about 90% of the products that they're shilling. People crave authenticity and actual real human reactions, and that's what street interviews are. So I think that street interviews will continue to, I mean, my whole thesis is that they're going to continue to be a thing because I'm betting my whole business on it.
Yeah.
But I don't fucking know. Like if there's a point that AI can do it as authentic as humans can, then maybe I'm screwed. But that's why in real life events are not going away, is because everything is going digital. So I think the same thing could be said about street interviews. Like people crave human reaction or human interaction, and if they can't get it, then they want to see it.
Yeah.
So just us interacting with people is like porn. To the
That's
So
true.
I think will be interesting, and kind of again, and you're completely right. Someone that tries to predict the future than a fool. But I think for me, where I see that format going is that people would basically they would use AI to generate like templates of the questions, and then you would then know what questions you were going to ask, and then you'd go out and do it in real life. Like that's how I would see it. So it would actually allow you to iterate on what questions you should be asking the audience. That's
yeah.
kind of that's how I imagine it would go in my view. Where it'd be like you basically get AI generate 1,000 different interview questions, like put it on like a burner account, see which one gets the most like resonance, and then go and ask that particular question or those particular set of questions to that audience on the street. That's kind of my guess where it would go. So you'd have
Yeah.
more hits. That's what my matchup.
Another thing I could foresee just the process of making the videos change a ton, where maybe I feed some model 30 videos that we've made for clients, and then I feed them the raw clips from another one. I say, just make them like these. And then then the need for editors goes away, which, sorry team, but if I can do that, I probably will.
Well, it's an interesting thing though, isn't it? It's like, I mean, I don't know what Carson will say, but what we've found is there's a lot of brands that we've worked with, their whole video army. I know Carson and I are more static. I know you do I know you do videos as well, Carson, but what I've noticed is like all their video editors are overseas. All of them.
Yeah, mine too.
They're all overseas. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like you wonder what the homegrown video editors will do, what their future looks like. It just fascinates me deeply.
Dude, I think honestly, on a side note, I think like the entire economy of India is just like hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
Like,
I think kind of getting into this as well a little bit more is like, I think technical talent is going to become very, very easy to replace. But when it comes to ideas and when it comes to execution and filming and the actual skill set of doing things like the intangibles, like being good on camera, I don't think those are going to be replaced. Because I don't think even if AI does have the capability to go out and, you can say, hey, do street interview ads, make it people answer these questions. It's not gonna feel organic and authentic. So I think when it comes to video side, people are safer than they realize if you're in front of the camera or if you're behind the camera thinking of the ideas and the questions.
see, dude, like my least helpful thought about this is like I'm really just gonna have to react. Like I'm not gonna be able to predict.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna have to. And just
I've
being
learned that.
nimble.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing about being a founder is like we are better set up to react than someone who's like a data analyst at North whatever the fuck that company's called.
I mean, I know this is going a bit off topic, but I think generally right now, especially in the UK, if I'm like the UK London correspondent, and again, this is probably a hot take,
Yeah.
I would probably argue it's easier to, not easier, but like what I found personally from my end by having my own startup, working having it something that's my own business, I've been offered more jobs than I think I would have if I had just mass applied. Because
Yeah,
you learn, like, I'm not saying everyone needs to be a fucking entrepreneur because it's not easy, right? Like, but what I'm saying is, like, if you're really struggling to get a job, just look at what skills you have and try and sell at least one person. You will then be better than 99% of the people just sending their CVs out, right?
Yep.
yeah.
You know, like me and Carson will talk about it all the time. Like we jokingly say that some of these episodes are like therapy sessions because like there are some weeks, mate, that are brutal where like
Yeah.
clients are just not behaving or, or outreach isn't working. Like it's the game, but I think you've got to build resilience. I think you just have to. But it also, I mean, the amount of times that you do street interviews and people pretend to go fuck off must be, your level of like resilience must be super strong.
I mean, you build like, how do you build resilience? You get told no, right? Like I was in sales before, and like I was fucking cold calling for commercial real estate, dude. Like you make 300 phone calls in a day with a power dialer, and most days 300 say no. So you just you build up the muscle, and then I mean, if you've ever honestly, I think cold calling in a shitty industry is like one of the best things you could possibly do as a founder, as a human. It's because you learn how to get told to fuck off.
I
Yeah.
was always told the three best jobs to ever work in,
What are
whether
they?
it's sales, retail, and food and bev, like franchise.
Valid. It just shapes you as a person, man.
It
Yeah,
does.
you just get smacked around so aggressively.
Yeah. Or you just become an entrepreneur and then you just go into sales no matter what and you get told no and it's like, whatever.
Yeah, I am. I'm not gonna lie. I like to think of myself as fairly high agency, and like I can figure shit out if I need to. But I'm not. I am scared.
Same.
Genuinely, I'm like most days. I'm like, fuck. I hope this works out, and like I'm not gonna. The one thing I know is like I'm not gonna quit, and I'm just gonna keep fucking doing this until I have $0 in my bank account, which hopefully will never happen. That's what I tell myself. But, dude, I'm not like it's still scary every fucking day.
Always.
Yeah, I'm like, do I have to go get a sales job or something? I think sales is probably the most safe out of anything.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, it's a difficult one, right? Because it's like, yeah, but I think also as well, it's the thing of how like the people that succeed, I think, in this world are the ones that just stick at something longer than most people would.
Yeah,
And it's the game, right? Like, and I do believe it's time in market. How long have you had this agency for?
dude, less than a year.
That's what I mean. Like, imagine what your agency will be like in 5 years if you keep going. Like, the
Yeah,
people you'll know, the network, you'll just have ridiculous network effect.
totally. Even at Expo West, which is the big CPG conference, like the brands that had the biggest booths were literally 1-to-1 the ones that have been around the longest.
Yeah.
So there's something to be said about just staying
Also,
around.
Expo West must be like a dream for you because wouldn't you just go up to them saying, "Hey, can you give me one of your free products? I'll go film 20 interview videos of your product and then send it to you on the same day."
Yeah, but you can't. But yes, in theory. But I mean, there's like some technical limitations there. Like
True.
I have an editor, right? Like my editor would need to be fucking on it. There's so many brands that I
True.
got a lot. I got a lot of emails and set up a lot of calls, but I wasn't just like pumping out free street interviews there.
Yeah,
I don't.
true.
That might have been a move.
No. I'm doing the classic thing, giving ideas, but I have no context of the whole thing, of the whole like background engine that you've built. But that's what I mean. Like, I just love what you're doing because I think it's like I was talking to Carson about this recently. My vision of ecom will be you'll have like again, let's say we believe right now that a staple formats, I think street interviews are never going to go away. I think packaging formats, where it's like, oh, this product's for Mary, and you see them packaging the piece of that you see them packaging the actual product you're going to send to them. I don't think that will go away. I think certain static ads will never go away fundamentally. I think there'll just be big e-com brands or other agencies just doing those particular things. Because Meta, right, you need to feed the beast, right?
Yeah.
And you guys have different people doing different format for you. Format agencies.
I mean, dude, I don't know who somebody said it. It was like the biggest. I mean, just the best thing that you can do is have the ability to adapt. So if you're wrong about any of those 6 things, then you can adapt and learn something else.
So, Carson, the last questions for Jordan, like last dying.
Where can people find you, brother?
That's a great one.
Jordan Winston on LinkedIn. Jordan Winston _ on Instagram. Fuck my TikTok. Don't even look at my TikTok. Those are the big two, man. LinkedIn and Instagram are where I'm going to be posting a lot. You can find me at 105 McDougal Street in New York, or Washington Square Park if you want to say what's up.
Well, awesome, dude. We appreciate you coming on. This has been a great episode. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value out of this. And yeah, if you're watching, thank you for watching. Send this to somebody who might like it, and like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you in a bit.
Dang.